In Sydney, for example, the Steelworkers Union and the steelworkers had a strong voice in politics prior to the closure of the plant, and they would always get their voice on current events. And now, with deindustrialization, oftentimes workers feel that their voice has been lost or taken away. We begin to see the division of the working class. I mean, when people lose their jobs because capital mobility or because firms are leaving, there's a strong sense of alienation there when you're either forced to take another job with lower wages, there's fewer benefits, or you have to uproot and move your family to somewhere else in the country. Strong sense of alienation. You do see the emergence of these discussions of how deindustrialization is driven by greedy unions or workers asking too much, when in reality that ignores the kind of structural deficiencies that result in this type of mobility of capital, lost jobs, and so on, and really places the blame with workers and their organizations, which is not where the blame should be placed at all. A lot of these places that suffer from deindustrialization turn to tourism as kind of a catch-all answer to the problems of deindustrialization. In my area of research in Sydney, Nova Scotia, you see things like the Discover Nova Scotia tourist guide with a big picture of Cape Breton on the front, and you see the rolling hills, and you see the greenery, and you see the ocean, and you see a little fisherman in a rowboat, and that's not the images that people in Cape Breton have grown up with. That's not how people in coal mining communities see themselves, not how people in steel communities see themselves, and even the modern industrial fishery doesn't look like those industries that are presented in much of the tourism literature. And so what does that mean? That's, again, it's the cultural kind of papering over of industrial workers' experience of really the last 100 years, and almost presenting that area as though it's back in the 18th century, kind of a pre-modern paradise where there is no industrial work. And that's not really how people feel about themselves, it's not how people see themselves, and that does a disservice really to people who are kind of struggling to find something in the aftermath of deindustrialization.